chest, or else I'ma really be depressed. Looking like a fool in front of you. Don't give me those eyes, I just wanna tell the truth. I just gotta get it on my chest, or else I'ma really be depressed. Looking like a fool in front of you. Don't give me those eyes, I just wanna tell the truth. I just gotta get it on my chest.
All right, we are back with some new chapter 2 stuff. And it's been a while because honestly, last format was kind of just Amber Steel versus Ruby Amethyst, right? So I just ran out of content, honestly. So I didn't have much because I was playing Amber Steel a lot and I didn't want to just put a lot of Amber Steel on YouTube since there's way too much already. That's why I didn't have much. But today we are gonna start off chapter 2 with Amber Ruby. A lot of people call it ketchup mustard. I'm just gonna call it McDonald's, bro. Honestly. So what I'm trying to do here initially, in my version specifically, is to curve to 6 on turn 4. So you have Dock on turn 3. So turn 2 Lantern, turn 3 Dock, and then turn 4 hopefully play the new broken combo, which is Mother Gothel and Mother Gothel and Rapunzel, which is draw 3. We'll draw 1 basically because they replace themselves. But what's broken about that combo is that Mother Gothel comes out as a 3/4 body, and obviously Rapunzel's a 1/5. So on turn 6 or on turn 4, that's just problematic because what can happen if you curve out really well, right? So you go turn 4, you play Mother Gothel and Rapunzel. The best thing that can happen after that is actually Surfer Stitch. That's if your Dock survives that turn after you do the Mother Gothel Rapunzel. The Gothel Rapunzel combo is just disgusting, right? Because they stick on board, especially on 4, even on 6, honestly. Because then on 7, you just Surfer Stitch naturally, and they all just replace themselves already. So you're ready for the be prepared, right? So what you guys saw there was me pulling Sisu. That's like my 5th already, which is good because I get to keep a playset and then trade 1. This game 1 honestly is a really good representation of what the deck can do if it didn't curve out naturally. I drew double lantern and Dock, right? Because my priority in the mulligan phase is usually Rapunzel or Gothel. No, Rapunzel and Gothel. If I don't have any of those, I prioritize the ramping, which is either Dock or the lantern. I keep it and just mull everything else away. So those are the 2 things that I look for. The Gothel Rapunzel combo or anything that ramps, right? Because I want to abuse as well Mufasa. I'm not sure if I played it here yet, but Mufasa is actually a really good card addition to the Amber package because he replaces himself. And especially in a deck that can play Mufasa in turn 4 and can cycle through Mufasa a couple times because you play Hades, right? You play Hades and Amber. I do play 4 Hades and Amber in this list specifically. So you can just on turn 9, which is like probably the you probably do stop at 9 here. For the reason you play Hades and then you add the Simba back or Mufasa, and then you play Mufasa and pass, and the next turn if they don't deal with it, you just Surfer Stitch and then quest or trade. But yeah. Also, I want to note that in the other side of the field, Blue actually had a lot of love in but chapter 2. Because this whole Zootopia Hiram shell is actually broken. It makes the deck so consistent, and you can just add anything on top of that shell. If you guys don't know the shell, it's just double or triple Judy hops. You probably don't play 4. You definitely play 4 Hiram and 4 Nick. Maybe not 4 Hiram, but it's definitely more copies of Hiram than Judy, right? And that shell itself with the paw popsicle, you just keep drawing and drawing and just having bodies on board while you draw, or while you look for the pieces that you need, or while you sing a song and out something on board. You just cycle through those cards, and it's actually pretty broken because it adds so much consistency in the blue package. It's insane. It's really good. It makes me so excited for this chapter 2 format because I absolutely think blue got infinitely better, and this card as well is pretty good. I'm not gonna say that it's broken. This card can be so much better in another deck that uses a whole new world, because then you could play that card and then a whole new world cards that you know your opponent has in hand that you want to get rid of, right? So that card specifically is broken because if you're playing it with a whole new world, but just regularly, it's good. It's not a bad card at all. I mean, information from your opponent's hand, especially with Amber, like if they don't have a Rapunzel, then you're safe to like put your card sideways, right? Or like be prepared, like you can go wide if you see that they don't have be prepared. But right here, that's what he was looking for. Be prepared, didn't see it. So therefore we go to game 2. I know it was rambling game 1, you probably didn't see much of the gameplay, but the plan there, or what I'm trying to achieve with the Amber Ruby deck, is more like a mid-range. It has a powerful place, right? Mufasa replaces itself. So Mufasa is just a solid Amber card in general, because I don't know if there's any 5-drop that is better than Mufasa. Eudora is a good candidate, but playing Eudora over Mufasa, like Eudora doesn't demand an answer, because technically you can leave Eudora on board because she doesn't really trade into people. Like, yeah, you can, it's a good Rapunzel target, but it doesn't, you only draw 3 off of Eudora the most if someone puts their card sideways. Other than that, like, she's not really like a big threat, because later on, I mean, yeah, I guess against Steel, Eudora is like problematic, right? So maybe there's certain matchups that Eudora could be good, but right now in the Amber Ruby that I'm building right now, it's not. I find it that Eudora isn't as problematic. So I'm probably gonna replace Eudora for something else. I only play 2. I was playing the Christopher Robin and Eudora without any Mufasa, and I was thinking I consistently get to 5 faster. Because I want to get to 6, right, with the Doc and Lantern package, but it's not as consistent. So I have to stick to the, like right here, right? I have to stick to the turn 4, drop a 5-drop plays. That's more consistent than dropping something for 6. Or seeing Rapunzel and Gothel and drawing essentially 1, right? That is less consistent than you just having a 5-drop and playing it on 5 or on 4. So right here, like optimally, right, you wanna just trade and then play a 5-drop, which hopefully it's a Mufasa. Yep, it is a Mufasa. And hopefully it doesn't have the Hades. So like against blue, I know I'm gonna see a lot of blue, right? And there goes the Hades. So I know I'm gonna see a lot of blue just because of like the disgusting Zootopia package, right? And then I also did the the Gothel Rapunzel. Broken, dude. It's just broken. Like after this, I could just drop Surfer Stitch, and he sees that I have Surfer Stitch. Like if he doesn't answer this board, right? It's just a guaranteed Surfer Stitch because these two stick on board because their booty is so big, and Gothel actually trades into people because she has 4 toughness. And as set 1 Amber Ruby and set 2 Amber Ruby is actually pretty close still, right? I think a lot of decks have the same problem as set 1, right? Which is for Amber Ruby, you just struggle early game against aggro. So I don't know if I figured out that problem yet. I think Queen is a good answer in a way because you can essentially answer the Simba by playing the Queen turn 2, I guess, right? But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the aggro matchup. It's still pretty hard, honestly. But the fact that you can play with the dock being added to the deck, it actually helps you just ramp up more consistently, basically, than before. Because you're essentially playing 7 lanterns, right? As opposed to like 4 or 3. Because now I'm playing 3 lanterns and 4 docks. So yeah, that card's pretty good. It's just that a lot of the times, like, you look at their hand and you're like, you can't do anything about it anyways. Not like you can discard stuff. But knowing what your opponent has, right, you can like either play around it. I doubt that's the case most of the time. It's more of like, if you have it, you have it. It's not like you're not going to play the cards that you're going to play, right? But it's not a horrible card at all. The world's greatest criminal... Is that Scheme? Is that world's greatest... Or... The Criminal Scheme, the song that came out in set 2. That card is also like very dangerous because it's 3 uninkable that gets rid of Rockstar Stitch on turn 4. If you have a villain on the board, which is Mother Gothel or Queen, right? It's very powerful. This board though that I have, so honestly, I threw this game. I threw this game because I wasn't paying attention to his lore. I was more worried about doing my Mufasa plays because I was playtesting it to see if Mufasa actually has some kind of value. And turns out that Mufasa does have a lot of value in the Amber Ruby deck. I'm not sure what other decks Mufasa could be good. And maybe the Amber Sapphire. I'm not sure yet. But we will see. We will definitely see. I've played Mufasa. I've played Big Maleficent Dragon after Mufasa's banish effect, which is like it's busted. I've seen a lot of disgusting plays from Mufasa being banished. It's crazy actually. But yeah, it's mid-range control, and you trade efficiently with this deck. It's just that early game, it's just really tough, dude. Like, if you don't draw your early aggression stuff, and that's why I play Aladdin in my deck. But a lot of times it's still not enough because you play it at turn 5 or turn 6 the latest, right? So turn 5, if you have the dock and lantern combo, so you can play Aladdin on turn 5. But if he sticks on the board, then great. But most of the time he probably won't. So you actually wasted your turn on turn 5 in a way. But it's one of those. If they have it, they have it. One thing I love about the Amber Ruby deck though is Hades. Being able to recycle the cards that you need. Whether it's another Hades or the dragon or Mufasa. it's actually overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie to you. So you wanna stop at 9 inks in this specific build of Amber Ruby. McDonald's, what I like to call it. Because you play Hades and then Mufasa after and then pass. It's a really strong play. So one of the problems in the deck too that I find is be prepared. There has been a lot of times where the decks that you need to be prepared or to play be prepared, it's harder for you to get to 7 for some reason. Maybe because you're playing cards, maybe because you're playing your cards, right? You're playing your hand most of the time to out the or it's like to slow down the aggression. So you're inking less, just so you could trade, right? To slow down the game so you can get to 7 and then play the be prepared. But a lot of the times it feels like you should just not even make a board and just wait for 7 and be prepared, and whenever quest you have, wherever quest they have is what they have, honestly. And you just play, hopefully you play an Aladdin there and then start chipping down on their lure, right? But it's tough. It's really tough because you have to have a removal every turn. And I know that you have many ways to get back your removal, but after you play Hades, you probably can't play something after Hades, like another removal after Hades. Maybe you really can't, unless you have the world's greatest criminal scheme thingy song. So funny enough, he be prepared and Mufasa played Mufasa on top of my deck, which is crazy, by the way. Because now I'm guaranteed to quest again, right? Like, I'm just guaranteed to quest every turn because of Mufasa, honestly. But this is where I threw. He was at 16. I didn't look at his board. I was like, yeah, let's just play more people and pass. And he was at 16, and then this game. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but we're playtesting. I really didn't care. I just wanted the deck to play out, right? How I wanted to. So it was less about winning, it's more about learning. But at the same time, I should have won that, honestly. Alright, so this is the Amber Ruby list that I'm playing right now. I decided to play 2 Eudoras because if you don't have Mufasa, Eudora is probably the next best thing. But at the same time, if you do have Mufasa, Eudora is the next best thing after Mufasa gets banished, right? It's pretty cool because the cards that I thought of are LeFou and Simba, the bodyguard Simba, because if those cards coming out of Mufasa's effect actually can mess up their play. If they kill Mufasa first and then you play LeFou on top, and then LeFou readies one of your characters that was supposed to die that turn, that could also be like a game changer, right? Which means like if your opponent has Mufasa's probably the last person you want to get rid of, because there's also a chance where if you get rid of Mufasa first, they might get a Surfer Stitch on top, right? And then when you play Surfer Stitch and they have like 3 people on board including Surfer Stitch, and they draw 2 on top of that, so Mufasa's probably the last card that you want to get rid of just because of trigger reasons, right? So I just wanted to make Mufasa have like more value, and that's why this is the deck list that I chose. Eudora might get swapped out for something else. I don't know what yet. Be prepared probably will be cut down to 2. I am not entirely sure yet. I need to play against more aggro matchups because I have not played against a lot of aggro matchups. I just know that it's a weakness of the deck, therefore I need to play against it. But so far I'm loving the Amber Ruby. I'm trying to make this deck happen because I know I'm gonna have another deck that I'm gonna heavily play. I already know what deck it is, but I'm gonna spend a lot of time playing that deck. So right now is the best time for me to have fun and just honestly like play whatever I can and want to before it gets to a format again where we're just sweating our asses off and just playing the same decks over and over and over, you know? So right now I think what's broken about this deck is obviously, right, the Mother Gothel Rapunzel combo. It's very solid, those two cards. The next one I want to say is the Dock Lantern. Dock Lantern, the perfect curve on Dock Lantern is probably the most insane combo because you go turn 2 Lantern, turn 3 Dock, turn 4 Gothel Rapunzel, and pass. And then turn 5, if your Dock lives, you get to play Rockstar Stitch, draw 2 more, and your board is just insane from there. Like honestly, I don't know any decks that could out that specifically, but it is insane. And outside of that, the deck kind of like recycles itself because of Hades, and then Mufasa plays cards on top, like replaces himself too, and then Hades can add back Hades. There's so many ways that this deck can improve. I'm gonna make it the mid-range version a lot for now, and later on I'm probably gonna start doing the aggro version with the with Rockstar Stitch. Thank you for watching, guys. There will be definitely this time around more content for different type of decks. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll be here next week, I promise. Peace.
I need to sleep, bro.
Yeah, you ready? Yo! Yo!
Got it.
How the rest of the packs, bro? You see?
Think so?
Nah, it's so funny, bro.
We're not that greedy.